Hi Marcus, could you tell us a little bit about your business?
So we're Allied Concrete. We're part of the HWR Group, which is a company that has over 46 trucking companies, and we specialise in the manufacture and delivery of concrete. So we cover the entire New Zealand, but our business is focused around Taranaki.
How and why do you use your Vizlink board, Marcus?
So my business covers Taranaki, that's North and South Taranaki. So we cover as far north as Mokau, we go as far inland as Wongamomina, and we go as far south as Waitotra. And when the drivers come in to look at where they need to go, we use the board to show people a bit more graphically where they need to go and some of the hazards that they would experience on their travel, because a lot of these areas don't have radio communication. So once the driver's out there, they're out there, and we rely on them knowing where to go so they can get to the customer. And the customers often don't have communication because they're in a black zone.
Marcus, would you recommend to other businesses to visually communicate to their teams?
Without a doubt. So one of the challenges we experienced at Allied Concrete in Taranaki was that we wanted a map big enough for our drivers to be able to stand around, discuss and show where they need to go. I went to a number of mapping companies in New Zealand. They could accommodate me with taking a map and blowing it up, but then you got out of perspective. And I came to Vizlink with the scenario, when you go on Google Maps and go into 200 metres, I want that snapshot in a really large map. And they came back and said, we can do this, it will be challenging, but it was able to be done. And behind me is the end product. And part of the visual communication with the drivers is, for example, we're based in New Plymouth and we cover right the way around the coast, and I can stand here and talk to a driver and explain that, you know, actually I don't want you to take the coast road, I want you to take the Carrington and Wirramu road, because that's the quickest way to get to this farm. But when a driver's from New Plymouth and not familiar with the farming community, they often don't know where to go, and this gives them a good pictorial in their mind when they leave with a truck where they're going to end up.
So Marcus, what was it like working with Vizlink?
So the key thing that stood out to me with Vizlink was communication, was samples of what I was looking for, and I was quite pedantic with my needs. I really wanted Google Maps perspective at 200 metres, and I wasn't prepared to compromise on that. And working with Vizlink, they went back to mapping companies and they searched their network of contacts and were able to come back to me and also deliver me a sample in real life, which is on the wall behind me. So then before I invested in buying the product, I could actually see what I was really getting. And I put this map up on our board in our smoko room and let the drivers have a look and said, if I'm going to buy this map, do you guys think this would benefit you? And the overwhelming feedback was, this is fantastic. So it wasn't hard for me to invest in getting these maps through Vizlink.
So how did the team kind of start using the map?
So interestingly enough, we used the map. Well, when the team saw the map, they started talking to each other about where they've been and where they haven't been. And on the map, they started doing this and going, oh, I've been there and I didn't know that was called that. And, oh, look, I didn't realise these roads went up to the top of the mountain. And just it became a bit of a focal point. You know, in an office environment, they talk about people around the water trough or the water tank.
Yeah.
Well, in our world, it's around the map, amazingly enough, because, you know, and in the weekend they would talk about where they've been, and they actually looked at the map and found some areas that they thought they might like to go and see that they hadn't been here. And this is people who lived in Taranaki all their life.
Yeah.
So that's how it became a selling point to me. Not only a social thing, but it was critical to my business.
So Marcus, would you recommend Vizlink to other companies?
Most definitely, and the reasons why is because I came to them with a problem that, from my perspective, no one else could solve, and they were able to work with me to solve that problem and exceed what I expected. Pricing was very, very fair for the product and quality that was delivered, and out of it I've got a great tool to talk with my staff about where they need to go, and we can get product on time a lot quicker than if we didn't have the tools that are behind me.